Hey everybody, it's Jerome B Fam Cooking. You know what this is, not another cooking episode. We are bringing you somebody special today. This guy, let me just tell you, this guy, he is out there doing podcasts. He's
Yes,
got a
sir.
TV show.
Mhm.
He is running shop with his own wine. A Bronx native, Crew Love Wines President and CEO Jermaine Stone was raised far away from the wine country where he aspired to be a rapper. By age 19, he was already making appearances on XM Radio, BET, and Hot 97. CEO of Crew Love Wine, host of Wine and Hip Hop, and now the Street Somm on Tastemates. Mr. Stone, aka Wolf of Wall Street, is knocking it out the park. I hope you guys take time to enjoy this episode because Mr. Stone is here to talk about the topic of wine, rap, and food. Mr. Jermaine Stone. So this man has got a TV show he is the current host of Street Somm from Tastemates. He's also got a podcast that's out there that is wine and hip hop. That's right, music,
sir.
Wine, all types of flavors. Not only can you feel it, but you can drink it.
Oh no, I wasn't sure if you but yes. AKA
the wolf of wine, AKA the real wolf of wine. Jermaine Stone is the man. Mr. Stone.
Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. Man, thank you for having me, man. It's funny when you hear it all together like that. It's a beautiful thing. Grew up in hip hop in the Bronx, loving hip hop, and when I was around college age, got into the wine business and stopped pursuing a professional career in hip hop, but really just still writing for fun and for the love. And still keeping my connections and friends that went on to be, radio hosts and multi-platinum producers and rappers. So I still always had that connection and would see how both communities would revere one another. So I've always wanted to find ways to bring that community closer and closer together. So seeing that slow evolution, which not just happened naturally, which also happened through some things that I pushed along. So it's a beautiful thing to see that our society is here in this place that will receive something like that well, but also for me to be a part of it is humbling and something that I would never expect.
Well, sir, let me just bring it back. We're in the Bronx. We're in Wakefield. Tell me what it's like to grow up there. Tell me what that New York feeling is.
Yeah, man, my parents, I put it to you this way. I have this joke a lot where I'm like, my parents came to New York City, my parents came to the Bronx, New York in 1982 from Jamaica for a better life, right? So you got to think about the Bronx in the early 80s. Like I was born in 84, the same year that crack came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's think about that. And they came here for a better life, and my parents were so great. And, God bless my mom. She was so amazing, where it's like, we were like shielded mentally, where it's not like, we went outside, we got into stuff. But the way that my mom kind of framed things and like positioned our life, like one, I didn't even realize how poor we were, and two, I didn't realize, by the time like high school, I realized, okay, well, my friend Paul is like, when you get a new pair of sneakers, like that was real stuff that, I'm talking, I had in third grade holes in the bottom of my shoes. Remember sometimes your shoes be talking? My shoes used to talk, all that.
Bubbles. Yeah, bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. But when the back starts sliding down and you get to the square parts, that was me growing up. And the way that my mom was, you just didn't even notice that. Like we had a rich life. We had a rich feel, and I didn't realize how crazy my upbringing was until I got into the wine industry. And I would talk about stuff and situations I've been through growing up, or things that, you know, I did growing up. And my parents would be like, whoa. Like,
Don't be
you
telling
know,
our
like
business
one
out there.
time early in my career, because I was excited that I had a desk job. I had a friend of mine, he was locked up at the time, and, you know, I write him letters and stuff like that. And I gave him my work address to send me a letter to work, and this stamp correctional facilities, all this is on there. And, you know, they get the mail, and then my mail is on my desk with like a note that says no personal mail at the office. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, and in my mind, that was totally fine and totally known, because of the way, like, I grew up in the stop and frisk era, you know, and I remember dealing with things around that where, like, just getting arrested on some BS, you know. So it was, and so many of my surroundings and my scope was so limited at that time. Even though my parents from Jamaica, I traveled to Jamaica a few times growing up. I thought I had the leg up on my friends that had never left the neighborhood. Meanwhile, not even realizing how limited my scope was even at that time. So when I got into the wine business, that was because, just to know wine, you have to know the rest of the world. You have to learn about the regions that they come from. You have to learn about the cultures that exist within these countries that create the wines and why it tastes that way. That's a part of the appreciation of wine. So I, while learning about wine, I learned about the rest of the world, and also learned how my background was different from a lot of my colleagues. You know, I didn't have any white friends before I got in the wine business. I didn't have a way to even have. They weren't around. You know, like, where am I gonna get them? So it's like being in the truth, like, you know. So, and I thought that I was so evolved until I got into wine, and I realized how big the world really was. And you know, it was great because I was around good people who were extremely open-minded and just inviting, and, you know, all blended on the united appreciation for wine and quest and wanting to learn and enjoy it. So within learning about wine, we learned about each other, and that's where I saw the power of utilizing wine as a tool for community building. And when I thought about who I was the only black dude from the hood that any of these people were around usually. So the same way that I'd never had the opportunity to be around anyone like them, same deal. They didn't have the opportunity to be, because where they gonna meet a dude like me from, you know? Like, and it's the same exact thing. So, like, when you have that level of empathy and opening and openness for understanding and appreciating for seeing something different and learning about new cultures, like, if you into wine, you already into learning about new cultures.
Yes,
so when
sir.
you can provide something different with some quality, you're only gonna flourish. So I was like the hip hop connect for a lot of the people that were in wine. And then, you know, where people could actually come have a conversation. I would do things like give playlists out to my friends, like make the mix CDs and give them out to my friends and stuff, like, just for fun. So I was always that guy within the wine business. So when I began consulting on my own, it was just a natural evolution for me to find ways to integrate who I was with who I wanted to be and where I wanted to take the business.
Yes, sir. So I'm from Long Island, so slightly different lifestyle. But at some point in my life, it was just as poor, you know. But we used to have block parties with Biz Markie and all those people back in the day. And LL Cool J was born in the same hospital as me, so
wow,
that's right out here. So, but for me, I lived on 161st Street with my mother for a little bit. Right, maybe a summer or two, I think it was, some basement apartment. I did not like that experience, except for there was one incident I really liked. There used to be some strip club down the block. That was fun to walk by, but I did get my 10-speed bike stolen.
Yes, sir.
I
learned that
because I'm used to Long Island. You can just throw it on the ground and, you know, go inside, come back out. I threw it on the ground. I came out. Somebody was walking up the street with it.
I was like, no. They already did their own thing to it.
Yes, they already did that. But I was back in the 80s. You know, buildings are coming down, all that other crazy nonsense. but I understand what you're saying. The one thing that you said that I've heard you say on your show that I really would like you to talk to, and you're talking to it really well right now, is traveling for food and how it educates you. You know,
Yeah.
you're pairing these beautiful wines that I'm seeing on the show. I gotta get a list from you so I can get my guy to order it for me. But he's you travel for food. Tell me about that. I really love saying that myself. That's what my wife and I do.
And no, it's 100% true. Like, I mean, even this weekend when my friends was up, we were just doing a bunch of food and wine pairing, man. And I can't shut up about how great of a weekend it was just from pairing these amazing foods, pairing Iberico ham with Sauterne. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's pairing Peking duck with like German sparkling Riesling. Like, it was just, and that's fun. That just, where else can you get that type of enjoyment? But as far as traveling for food, you're absolutely right. That's, for me, a big part of, as I mentioned, with wine. To understand wine, you have to understand the rest of the world. And culturally, foods speak for where they're from. If there's an oceanside community, the wines are likely going to be complementary to fish, because of the lifestyle that's there. And regionally, there's so much that you can get from understanding, the winemaking style, speaks to the relationships of generations. Sometimes styles around the world may be evolving. That's a place where we are right now. And, the taste and the palate of wine drinkers today are changing. Parents might be stuck in the older ways, but they're now turning these wineries over to their kids. So this tells a story. Like, there's a way for something with a taste that you enjoy to tell a story that's a testament to a particular culture. I talk about Jamaican beef patties all the time. My parents were a part of that migration of Jamaicans into places like New York, Atlanta, Florida, and going into these pockets like the Wakefield section of the Bronx where I was, like Flatbush, Brooklyn, where I live right now. That's where you're going to get the best Jamaican beef patties. It wasn't like in the 60s you could walk into a shop or a bakery or a pizza shop and ask for a beef patty. That came along with that Jamaican migration, right? So it tells a story of that time. And you think about how that connects to hip hop. Hip hop was also something that was a part of that migration in. So when you were first experiencing these patties, you also first experiencing this music, this culture. Now it's a part of it. So, and the places that the music shows up is where these foods show up. So it's a part of the cumulative lifestyle. So when you eat these foods, you're experiencing the essence of a particular time and a particular people. Like when I was in Italy one time, and I went to the Uffizi Museum, and I'm looking at all of these different periods of art. And during a particular period, you're seeing a bunch of religious paintings. So now I understand the mindset of the people was very religious at that time. So art has this way of speaking for a culture through the nuances, and you can understand the mentality and feel like you're in that place, almost like a time capsule. So wine has that ability, music has that ability. And as I travel, I only find that more. You pick new things up. Traveling to Europe helped me understand how young the United States really was. And it helps you have a certain understanding for the way things are, why they are the way they are. So travel is extremely important. And when you really think about it, food is the calling card for so many different places. It's like I mentioned, man, a true honor to be able to express that through things like Street Somm, as well as a lot of the content that I've been making all over the world. Like, I actually just got off a call with the Rothschild family to do a repeat of the stuff that we did. Well, a different version and a bigger version of things that we did with them in 2021. which is conversations that started from 2019, so this is like the fact that I can navigate these kinds of world through wine, I think just shows how powerful it is. And I think that us culturally can benefit from that, not just as people of color, but white people, Asian people. We can all see each other through a unified culture. I saw there's a dance that I love, Memphis Jukin, that these Memphis guys do, and I'm seeing people in Japan doing trap music, doing Memphis style music, and doing these dances. So I think that things like food, like wine, like music, it has a way of helping us to see one another in ways that nothing else does.
So let's dig into the wine then. You mentioned in several of your other shows, you have 4 ways that you like to touch upon wine and think about wine. You start with color, smell, taste, and aftertaste. Can you break those down for me, please?
Yeah. So that's actually like the when you want to taste wine, our first episode of Wine and Hip Hop podcast, I had Lil C's on. And when I broke that down to him, he was like, oh, wow, I never really understood that. That's like, that's why they call like a wine tasting. I never really got that. But the thing is, it's really like the analytical thought behind what you're tasting. Now, the thing is, people feel like you have to do that to appreciate wine. And really, when you look at it, that just gives you the ability to, one, appreciate wine on many individual levels, so that when you look at it all as one, you gain a different appreciation for it. So like I mentioned, sight, right? You look at the wine. It's best to look at it on like a white paper background if you have access to that. Look at it with ensuring you have the correct amount of light, because visually you can appreciate something. We look at paintings and enjoy them. We wear clothes. We like what we see. There is beauty in color, in hue. Many rosé makers, like it's a part of appreciating a rosé, thinking how they're able to accomplish that particular balance of color. This is a winemaker decision of how long they're sitting it with the skins of the grape. Are they sitting it with the skins of the grapes at all? So that's very intentional, just something as simple as color. Then you have smell. This is where you're thinking through the aging process and how long the wine has been aged, what the varietal is even. There's a lot of, and when you age wines, they gain different layers of complexity. And I say that meaning like the flavors continue to change and develop over time. New things, new small flavor attributes added on top of what was already there, thus changing it. That's something that happens through aging. And of course, the type of fruit that you have is going to give you an aroma. But we wear cologne and perfume. You can appreciate an aroma as well, right? So now imagine if I like one individual, like the other, and then I like them two together. Then you go on to the taste, right? I don't got to tell you about that. You know what I'm saying? But the key with taste is there's a lot of different components to flavor, sweetness, acidity, there's all these different elements. And then you can the winemaker can turn up or down whatever they want to do and manipulate that flavor. That's one style of appreciation. The other style is the winemaker just simply taking what the land gives them and doing the best with that. There's a style of winemaking around that. So there's the art within that, right? And being able to manipulate all of these different elements that you can't control to make something consistently good. People don't think about the fact that champagne is a blend of grapes from many different years to make one consistent flavor every single year, no matter what changes. So that's a constant adjustment to maintain a specific flavor. And then there's the aftertastes where you're really able to appreciate it. Some wines will actually change, give you new experiences. This is where you'll be able to enjoy the element of pairing. So just thinking of it in that way, right? now you're approaching wine not as just a beverage that you drink. This is a conversation we have, and this is something that I'm analyzing and thinking about. And I think that people assume that that is the only way to appreciate wine, but sometimes you just like a song. You know what I'm saying? I just like the song. It just sounds dope. That's it. So why is it that wine is really the only beverage that do you drink milk that way? Do you drink Gatorade that way? Do you drink Coca? No, so like you're allowed to just enjoy it too. So for me, I just try to help people understand how many different levels you can appreciate it on, and show people that you don't have to feel bad with just liking the way something tastes, and that's just it. Or maybe liking the way it makes you feel, or the place that it complements. That you don't have to only enjoy wine in one singular way.
Yeah, so you also mentioned something about time and buying. You're buying time, and I was like, that was like a moment for me when you said that the wine itself changes over time, and that's what you're actually buying in these bottled beverages.
Absolutely.
You have more to say in reference to buying time?
No, I mean, like, really, think about that, right? Like, a specific vintage of wine tells a story, and like I mentioned, we talked about the change of guards of people running wineries and how that's a family business, but this could be the son's first vintage, so it had a particular profile to it. Maybe it was better, maybe it wasn't. Maybe there was a dock strike that year in Bordeaux, so a number of the wines that made it into the U.S. for that vintage was damaged. Maybe it was a heavy rain year, so all of the wines have a particular taste. So that, like, you can't go back into a moment, So that's just it's amazing. And guess what? Once you get it, once you enjoy it, it's done. It's not that $4 million art painting that you can walk past and appreciate. It's that there's going to be a point in time when it's no good anymore, So you got a drinking window opportunity there. It's fleeting always, so it's something that's really interesting. And guess the thing is, it doesn't have to be that also. Some wines are made to age, some wines are made to be consumed right now. Again, these are winemaker decisions, and it's like an artist isn't just going to give you one type of song. They're going to give you songs to fit. Like, these winemakers are business owners. They want to create different opportunities for you to enjoy wines in all of the different areas of your life. So they try to find places to meet that. Just like your musicians, they want to make songs for the club. They want to make songs for the album cuts. They want to make songs for you to play with your girl, whatever. But some people kind of know where they fit, and they might really lean into this, so
they have an audience.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Pusha T's gonna rap about dope every single time. That's what you expect from him. That's what the audience that he's created. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't find ways to discuss the same topic with different colors. And that's, all of these people are just artists, and that's really what they're expressing.
So right now, Beyonce's going through this thing of which she's getting pushback on country music from
country
people who doesn't know the history of America, which drives me insane, right? Because how many times we got to say the Black people have been here, we created every type of music there is. It's you don't understand what it is that we are. But let's not go. Let's not go there. Let me bring you back. I don't have any fight in that. I don't have any dog in that fight. So all I know is, man, they just gotta shut up before they start saying something. They just don't know.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch.
It's definitely Dukes that has. Fake Dukes that has a guy gonna talk about it. Come on, come on, son.
The Dukes that has a guy talk about. Oh dear. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, man. 'Cause I see a wave happening behind that. Like, for me, I just want people, I don't want it to be gimmicky, right? Like, that's the whole thing. And I feel like, I think that a lot of times when there's conflict that comes up, it's because people are speaking a bit emotionally and not really articulating themselves the right way, right? But I thought about it like, in hip hop, for example, like when you have a particular, like, we've all done things a particular style. There is a culture that's created around it. Now it's trying to immediately be changed, and so they're looking at someone like Beyonce bringing in a huge amount of commercialization, right? But someone like Beyonce should be allowed to be an artist and explore styles. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But what happens with that is now Beyonce is so responsible for like the tone and temperature of what music is. Now that sound that she's creating is going to begin to be manufactured and become a mandate, a label mandate. Okay, we need, yeah, but now you need the country one. And I think that's what the pushback is, but they don't know how to say it. And then there's just some people that are just straight racist. I mean, let's call spade a spade. There's that too, But then it's like, then the group think comes in, and it's just.
I just think he's a little unaware. I don't want to say ignorant. Yes, I do want to say ignorant.
It's ignorant. It's ignorant.
Ignorant of American history. I mean, that's the part
exactly
that's the most insane. You talk like you're coming from that. You're the authority, right? Just because you have a series of people who understand who you was. Right, and then you're running. He's just running at the mouth. Stop.
It's like nobody even cares. Like, when do you even speak? You still alive? Like, I was like, how about that part? Like, it's just, I know, and that's the other thing. It's the time that we're in. People just want to say something. People want something to be mad at. There's the group that comes in. I'm a big proponent of a person is smart, but people are stupid.
right. But Beyonce's from Houston.
Like, that's legit.
Right, and he is from New York, playing somebody from. What? Come on, son. Come on.
I don't care what your fan base is, man. Like,
you don't know something because you played it on television, okay?
What gives you the right?
What gives you the right to start?
And these people be kooks too. Like, that's the other piece. Like, so often celebrities just have a lot of people that'll listen to them, but so many of these people are just idiots. And you kind of wonder, like, wow, you're this talented and this stupid. Like, that in itself is an accomplishment.
Yeah. But hey, so looping back to your TV show, man. Your TV show is really well produced. You're rocking the style. You throw. I don't know who's dressing you, but you definitely put your own fingerprint on that, right? Thumbprint on it.
My man Vlad, man, my guy Vlad.
You do your stuff. You step up in there and you show who you are right off the bat. The food I'm seeing is excellent choices to match the shooting style. And I don't know what the wine tastes like. Bottle looks like it's good. It's gonna fit.
We had some great stuff on there, man. I'm so proud of that team. Shout out to Taste Made. All of the brands that were a part of this. The Prisoner, Tim Crawford, Robert Mondavi Winery, Ruffino. These are like classic brands, and to be working with them in itself was a true honor. To like really make a change with them was a true honor. But also some of these pairings, like there's this pairing in that first New York episode at the Pecking House, that spicy fried chicken. I had that this weekend, man. Like, that was one of the pairings. Like, I go back to, it's so good. And that was like one of my favorite pairings for the entire season. And it's one of those things that it teaches you so much. One, it breaks the expectation. When people think fried chicken, they think champagne or something sparkly. When people think wine and spicy food pairings, they think no. Like, straight up and down. And then red wine and spicy food is like a whole different thing. It's like it's a big no-no. So me being able to think outside the box, think about flavors that were unique to me. Like, I like spice. Sometimes I like spice being turned up a little bit. I like what would connect with that. And the thing is, there are certain rules that you can think about, like that'll always work, like a term like sweet needs heat, you know, thinking about the way that that goes together. You can on your own, like, okay, I get something with some sweetness. The prisoner, you know, because of the varieties of grapes that it had in it, there was, you know, a bit of pronounced sweetness, but it wasn't a sugar bomb, you know. And it allowed me to be able to talk about the advantage of a blend. When people think about wine blends, they think of cheap wine. One, all of the wines from the prisoner are not like, none of the, it's no commercial farming. It's all like small farmers that they're purchasing these grapes from. There's a very social conscious message behind the brand. You know, the term "the prisoner" is from a painting which highlighted the atrocities of the Spanish War, and saying that that has that prisoner on there because it's showing that the punishment is as bad as the crime. So, you know, there's all of these stories that we're able to bring out through conversation, and gives you a different level of appreciation for the wine. So that was hands down my favorite pairing.
And your approach to man on the street interviews with individuals, you know, you walking up, you just get people to walk up and ask them questions about food, and you know, nomenclatures on stuff like, you know, do you know what this word means, X, and then what does this word mean, or just it, I thought it was well done. I mean, I've seen some that are hodgepodge put together, and I've seen some excellent ones. Yours, Carla Hall's new thing that she's got out is on point, right? I hit her up, you know, and told her to I was like, when is season 2 coming out? I gotta ask, sir. I know, I gotta ask. Season 2, you gotta tell me that there's definitely a pathway to season 2, because I'm ready. Yes. And tell them right off the bat, you got a new subscriber, annual subscriber. You know, that's 100%.
Thank you.
Put that down, and I'm not saying because of anybody else. Because of you, that's the reason why.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you. Ready.
Much.
I'll be there. My wife and I have been sitting here watching it. You know, it's just so. Podcast itself, you've been doing this for a long time. The last one I could find was the 100th episode.
Yes, sir. 100th episode.
That's a lot of talking, man.
Man, blood, sweat, and tears, man. And you know, the thing with that show is, like, I am not a quantity over quality guy. I'm a quality over quantity dude. So a lot of times when I put these podcasts out, it's because I really have something to say, or this is a guest that really has something that I feel has a great opportunity to contribute. But I also put a lot into the editing, and personally go through the edits. Personally, you know, for anyone that hasn't listened to the show, you know, I sit with different guests from either the wine or hip hop world. I ask them to pick a song or a bottle of wine that's special to them, and I pick a pairing, and we discuss those pairings on the show while getting to know each other. That's the main crust of the show, but there are also some solo episodes where I'm just talking my shit, you know. There are a lot of actually some really cool solo episodes that I'm working on now that are just like about wine education and teaching about terroir and different ways to appreciate wines and how they pair to different concepts within hip hop, telling different stories within hip hop. So there's a lot of really cool episodes coming out, but really I put so much effort and energy and pour so much of myself into those episodes. It's really a quality over quantity thing, and you know, I'm happy to say that I know that people can really get something from every episode that they listen to, and the episode that are coming up in the future are like some of the best I've worked on. So I'm really excited about that.
So when does it return? I mean, the 100th, I listened to that. I listened to a bunch in the beginning, and some in the middle. I didn't. I mean, I'm just now turned on to you. I am aware now that you're out there, so I will be paying attention. But I really love the concept of you asking the guests to send you their music, the ones that they is their jam, and then you're gonna pair something to that. Because the concept I always thought was, it's been difficult for me to get out there and talk to people about food, because I normally do recipes, You know, I do
Mhm.
recipes, and then I talk to individuals to promote them to make sure that they're out there and people know about them. If they didn't
Right.
find them over here, this is their window to find them. So I found it difficult to talk about that, because how do you talk about how buttery something is and make that sound appealing?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Shout out to the team at Taste Made. They were so amazing. When I started shooting street sound, you know, I'm a wine business operations guy. You know,
Yes.
I wasn't that table side sommelier that does all that stuff. I'm a cool dude to hang out with when you chilling and drinking wine.
Mhm.
You know, so a lot of my personal style I had to adjust to fit what was happening on street sound. When I did tasting notes from the streets, which was kind of a different iteration of street sound, and the first time I was going into my food and wine pairing style, you know, that show was about pairing my favorite foods from the hood with different wines from around the world, and that's on our YouTube now. Um, but you know, we did stuff like Jamaican beef patties with Spätburgunder, which is a German Pinot Noir. You know, and that was something that we did in partnership with Germany. So I say all that to say, any sommelier, what they tend to do is find flavors that the person they're speaking with might be familiar with, and try to find a comparison for that, trying to find a flavor metaphor for that, really. So I always say sommeliers are the rappers of of wine, because we all just spitting metaphors all day, you know. And some sommeliers can be so eloquent. The way they describe a wine can make it taste better,
Oh,
you know.
yes, most definitely.
So language is so important. But as far as like just like thinking through and finding different adjectives for the wines, it's like finding ways to relate to the individual that I'm speaking to. You know, finding comparisons for flavors that they might be familiar with. So I'll think about things like when I'm tasting a wine, instead of saying the particular fruits that I'm tasting, instead of saying, you know, I'm tasting kiwis, papayas, like maybe someone doesn't know what a papaya tastes like. You know, maybe someone doesn't think about something in that way. So, or able to identify all of the different flavor characteristics. Somebody just say tropical fruit notes. You know, we all had them tropical fruit now or laters, you know what I'm saying? You know what's what's in there. You know what I'm saying? You see a hodgepodge fruit there, you get it. You know, I'll describe a situation. I'll describe, you know, thirst quenching, where you want to be to ideally enjoy this. So putting the people in a place where I think that we can find some relation and building from there. But you know, for someone that's like trained on wine, there are particular go-tos. Like I might say things like dark fruit. I might say things like red fruit. You know, finding ways that you can quickly identify without having to really think that much. That's what I've leaned on. But so much of it is just it's audience based. It's knowing your audience. You don't want to talk at someone. I want to speak with you, and that's what I focus on.
Yeah. So in your show on the TV show, you end up in Madison Park,
Yeah.
which is I've never been. Excuse me. But if I remember correctly, it was the #1 in the world on Michelin rating, right?
Yeah.
I have been at another place very similar, but let's actually, I think he used to work there. So Charles Mitchell has Clover Hill, right? And
Oh yeah.
Brooklyn. The wine pairing in his restaurant is tremendous. So I have to assume that 11 Madison Park is, you know, there, because I believe.
Oh, it's an institution.
Yeah, it's
an absolute
definitely.
institution.
I got the cookbook, but when you were sitting there and you're enjoying that artichoke heart, if I remember correctly, it's you know, it was batter dipped, and oh my God, that looks so good.
It was good. It was good. It was so intricate. Yeah.
Is this where they, you know, why the New York Times states that, you know, Mr. Stone possesses a combination of self-confidence and self-awareness and empathy to permit and navigate unfamiliar world and feeling of discouraged? Yeah.
That's crazy. It still bugs me out that like
New York
stuff like
Times.
that is said.
See,
Yeah, that was wild.
a man from the Bronx. A
From
man
the
from
VX, man, where that used to have holes in his shoes when I'm talking.
Holes in the shoes. Madison Park. What
Yo,
Madison?
you know what's the craziest thing about this? And shout out to Love Madison Park and Daniel and the whole team there. But like, that's a place. It takes like a month and a half to get a reservation. Like, yo, I could call them and be in there tonight.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like that. To me, that's the most. That's why I feel like that those places like that is where it's like, yo, all right, we doing something. You know?
You were stealing something from Marvel, and you were saying about Infinity Stones, right?
Yes.
That's an Infinity Stone moment, my friend.
It feels very Infinity Stone. You know, it's one of the battles. It's Thanos beating the shit out of the Hulk. Pardon me, I wasn't sure if I could curse.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah, it's Thanos beating the shit out of the Hulk in scene one. You know, but no, and you know that Infinity Stones thing is true, and I really feel proud to know that like it's just there are in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Thanos he has these different 6 stones that he's chasing after. Each stone represents a different element of life. And once he has all of those different elements, he can control everything with the snap of a finger. And I really think that, you know, there are many different elements to culture. And I'm working on collecting all them different Infinity Stones. Having a network TV show was absolutely one of those. There are several others that I'm hoping to acquire. Think that
French Laundry.
Oh man,
being able to snap a finger, be there.
Get up in there, man.
That's a place that sells tickets. They sell tickets to get in there. You purchase a ticket for dinner.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about wine is I think that comes with it is like the social currency, you know, being able to know people at particular restaurants, being able to get in, stuff like that. But you know, even someone that's not in the industry can do all these same things. Like I'm big on like just communicate with people, reach out to the restaurant, make a relationship, have a conversation. It goes such a long way. Many of these places are owned by groups that have other places. And it's all the same stuff, man. I'm one of them dudes. If I'm taking, you know, a young lady on a date, I'm going to call ahead to the restaurant and say, hey, my name is Jermaine. I'm this reservation here. I'm taking somebody very important on, and I want to make it feel special. Restaurants love stuff like that. Now, after that, you got a relationship with them. So having social currency is key.
Well, I don't know if do you know Charlie Mitchell or Charles Mitchell?
I think we're friends online. I believe we're friends on Instagram. I haven't been to the restaurant yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Sir.
Chuck Mitchell, right? That's what his name is online.
Well, Charles Mitchell is what he uses on Instagram, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I'm assuming.
I think that's the IG name. But yes, I know it. Yes, and I'm pretty sure we're friends. I know I follow him with Clover Hill.
Oh my God, you got to roll up in that spot. I mean, it's laid back. It's a lot more laid back than you know, 11 Madison Park. I won't keep bringing 11 Madison Park up. but the man is putting out flavors. His work is excellent, and I really would love to put you two in the room together because he's doing it. He's definitely doing it, and being one of the first African Americans in New York City to get a Michelin star is important.
And in Brooklyn, I mean, like, I'm dying to go there. That should be really cool.
Right near Brooklyn Bridge or Brooklyn Bridge Park or something like that. I took my wife there a couple 2 years ago now, I think it is. But it was definitely the hookup. So tell me about your business, your actual business, the reason why you promote so much and get out there. Tell me about I think it was Cuz Love. Is that right?
Crew Love. Yeah.
Crew Love Selections.
Yeah, so, you know, we're a creative agency that's dedicated to blending wine and hip hop in organic ways. So, you know, we do that through a variety of ways, through general consulting, whether that's and when I started the business, I started the podcast as more like a way to promote myself for fine wine consulting. So operations, um, uh, hiring, helping hire, train, creating organizational plans, logistics, just so I could stay in the fine wine space. That's what I was doing. However, as I began to explore different types of clients, I began to work with wine regions like Bordeaux, working with Germany directly, working with Prosecco directly on things like marketing and integration plans, working with companies like Constellation Brands on like employee training and diversity training. So I was doing things like that, and utilizing content as a way to communicate effective messaging. So things that I learned through hip hop. So content was always a piece of consulting. Separately, also hosting events, which is another way to penetrate. So if I'm consulting, then I'm influencing the people that are making decisions. If I am creating media, I'm now creating a conversation around a particular lifestyle and a narrative. And if I'm hosting events, now I'm hosting an activation for people to physically or personally be a part of it. And that's how you create culture. So those are the things that I focus on, and kind of why I show up in the way that I do, in the places that I do. But my clients are, the sorts of people that I mentioned, from wine auction houses to private collectors to big conglomerates, to, even record companies. Warner Music Experience is one of the groups that I've also worked with last year. So really anybody that wants to bring wine and hip hop together in an organic way, I can be a conduit to that. Often it's difficult to get artists on board with feeling comfortable doing things, or even feeling like something is for them, because wine is usually seen as something different. So I'm someone that can have that conversation and help people identify the opportunities on both sides, whether that's the wine side, and I'm speaking to wine consortiums who just don't understand hip hop or see the value, or artists who feel like hip hop isn't them, or their audience isn't interested in that. So that's pretty much what the business. I'm an ambassador for wine and hip hop.
No matter what, all of our money's still green.
Right.
We only trying to share it with others. That's basically it. If they want us in the room, if they don't want us, we don't want to be there.
We don't want to be there. We'll build our own. It's all
build
good.
our own. That's what we'll do. So, sir, what else is going on in the future from you? What else could be looking? I mean, I'm already got a list now. I got season 2. I'm ready for season 2 on the show, and I want to hear what's after 100. What changes up? And tell me a little about what you're planning in the future.
Yes, man, I have a lot. This year, I'm just really excited about it. I'm calling this year the victory lap year, because I've been in this year. In October, it makes 20 years that I've been in the wine business. And I'm actually going to be turning 40 in October, so
congratulations.
Pardon me, in August. But it's just crazy to see how this has all worked out. And now where I'm like, half my life I was in hip hop and the other half I've been in wine, and to here now be bringing those two things together, it's just a true amazing moment. It's a true blessing. So everything I'm doing this year is really like all about full circle stuff. I'm likely going to begin to do a bit more auctioneering again. I am going to be I am revisiting my music roots, something that happened during Street Somm. If you watch that Chicago episode and then the Houston episode, I actually rapped in Houston in the studio, but it was the show. What happened on the show was real. I was inspired to begin recording music and ready to put it out because of what I'd gone through and was actually captured on the show. So got a couple record deals on the table that we sawing through, figuring out. There's gonna be some music coming out. There'll be like a wine and hip hop mixtape this summer. It's gonna be really cool, and some fire events behind that, and a lot more actual music that directly integrates wine and hip hop in ways that have just never been done before, and working with amazing partners that you just would not believe are doing stuff like this. So this year is gonna be the one. I'm excited about it.
It sounds you have so many things in the fire.
And of course, some new shows. I'm sure you're gonna see some new things with Taste Made. Probably see a season 2 of Street Somm. Lots of international stuff coming up. Pay attention for some out of the country events that people are gonna want to come to. So yeah, man, it's going down. It is going down.
I don't even know what to say to that. I like to see his connections. I mean, it's a group out there. I think it's called Black Girls Wine or Black Girls.
Yeah, Wine. Black Girls. Yep.
So that together along with there's one on it's like a Black Girls food thing that would be really good mixed all in there with the traveling. Mm-hmm. I can't even fathom. My question for you is: have you thought about ever doing a pseudo barbershop sort of thing? So you have you can be the MC of the whole thing. You got your music playing, and then you got some real personalities up there, maybe some rap influences.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom what you would put down, but I'm glad to hear you decided to also keep your toe in on music.
100%. Because the thing is, I never stopped writing. I only stopped pursuing music professionally. And it's like, I liked rapping, but I didn't like the music business. So I just didn't feel like I needed to do it. It wasn't about people seeing me. It was just me about expressing myself. So it was, even on Street Sound, for me to rap, they had to convince me to do it. Like they were, before the Houston episode, I remember we were still in Chicago and they were like, yo, you always talking about rap. Because they constantly wanted me to dig into my past and talk more about myself. I'm used to doing the interview shows where I'm highlighting my guests and their history, not really talking about myself. So there's a lot of holes in my story that people just really don't know. Even some of the things I talked about today are not things that are generally in the conversation around me. So they wanted me to dig into my past. So hip hop is really who I was before wine. So what I spoke about a lot, and the director, Alan, he was just like, you're always talking about rap. Next episode, we got Bun B, and you're going to be doing a wine pairing in the studio, but we got to find a reason to place you there. So would you be open to recording the theme song for Street Somm? I'm like, hell no. I said no, because I'm not Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to do Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in Westfield. I ain't doing that. I wasn't gonna do it.
Okay.
So, and I don't want to be seen as a rapper. Even within music, I want to be seen more as a curator and lover and appreciator of music.
Okay.
But I got bars too, though. So every once in a while, I'll jump in and do something. But I'm just trying to really bring great elements around one another. And so I got in the studio, I did it, and everybody, it was like a big convincing. They were like, yo, if you won't do the theme song, just rap, we'll get a producer. Can you just pretend to record something? I'm like, well, I kind of am recording a project for myself, but and as soon as I did the rap, like I did 2 raps, everybody lost their mind and ran out. They were like, yo, what the hell? You say you don't do it? Like, it's just like a hobby. And so so a friend of mine, arsonist from the Heatmakers, they produce for Dipset and Cameron and Jim Jones and all these people. And I still hang out with him. I'll go to the studio. He knew I was writing. He knew I was recording a personal thing. And then one day, but he's a multi-platinum producer, so I was just like getting some beats. I wasn't planning on doing anything with him. He was just a friend. But he heard me rap one day. He's like, yo, just get in the booth. And we recorded a fire song. So it's been fun to re-embrace that side, and I'm looking forward to putting some of that stuff out this year. There's some stuff on the way.
Well, sir, it's really, as a person who I paint, I draw, and I also do a bunch of other stuff. But the idea of you giving up a part of yourself, because that's what it is to me. Is right. That I can do these other things. Mm-hmm. But I am doing this as a profession X. You don't you want to give that away, but as I tell my wife all the time, when we see some celebrity doing X, Y, Z, they just you collecting. That's another paycheck.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And look, we hustling out here.
Yeah, as my cousin would say, who spent a little time upstate, with the college. Upstate.
He went to college upstate.
He actually did get his master's while he was there.
Yeah. School of Hard Knocks.
It was the School of Hard Knocks and the School of something or other. Plus he got that 5 days, 5 to 8 or a little bit of time. He needed to spend some time away to see some.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, you can't giving that away is it's not good. It's not good for you because you're not complete. Then now that I hear that you're doing it, you're more of a complete person. That's outstanding. And when I get to see these other episodes and hear this other episode, I can't wait. This is it's phenomenal. And anything else you got going on? We got a book coming out. That sounds like next moves.
I'm sure it'll be there soon.
The book, you got the podcast thing and rapping. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep. Yeah, man. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. I'm just being as much of myself as I possibly can be, and trying to ensure to contribute to my community and uplift our people. That's the ultimate goal. Like, my ultimate thing is to ensure that I could be a part of changing that perception of Black men in America. We're assumed to be one way. If we try to embrace who we are, we're looked at as something else. However, just because you embrace your stereotype doesn't mean you can't break it at the same time. Stereotypes exist for a reason, but it doesn't mean that you're just the stereotype. And I try to show people that you can expand past that.
Most definitely, sir. Most definitely. And, unless there's something else you want to get out there for the future, no, then we're going to wrap this up. This has been absolutely spectacular. I can't believe it. Was ease of talking to you was unheard of. And as you said, you can talk to pretty much anybody when you're talking to me. And thank you very much for taking the time. This is Jerome, and that is
Jermaine
Stone.
Jermaine.
AKA.
Yes, sir. Peace, man. Thank you.